the party created. And that is very important to acknowledge.
I happen to be here as a tourist for another couple of weeks, so I figured this is my last chance to see you. I see you also as young man, as he did, but I see you as young communists in the Eastern Europe. You were communist not only for 60s, but for 70s, 80s. And I remember in 89 or 90, I spoke with you, and you told me that you were proud to be communist, and that it was not for communist party and the socialist bloc that countries like Namibia, for example, would not exist, and that South Africa would still have apartheid. And now that we see that there is no more socialist states, or not the socialist bloc, and we see that countries like United States of America can go into Iraq, can go tomorrow into Syria. I want just, and I'm sorry that it's not maybe on subject of Black Panther Party, but I want you to, how do you feel about yourself as being for what, some 30 years member of Communist Party, and what the whole world was looking at you like beautiful communists from the United States of America? And what do you think that you left party, and how do you believe now about theory of socialism? And I'm here only on vacation, so any CIA agent, I go.
Well, I don't feel very different from, when did we talk? When did I say that to you? Where? Not in this country. Okay, now I can imagine where it was, okay? Well, I did actually leave the Communist Party, not because I feel any less passionately that we need to build socialism, communism, but rather because of the failure to democratize the party, the internal workings of the party. So I got a whole bunch of us who were members of the leadership were not allowed to run, and because we had circulated a petition designed to encourage. But you know, that was back then, and I should say that I have very good relationships with members of the Communist Party, and even though I may not be a communist with a large C, I'm still a communist with a small c. I still believe that capitalism cannot inform the future of this planet. And when I look at Cuba, I think back to the Panthers and I say, right on. I mean, don't let me get started about Cuba. But when Hurricane Katrina happened, and we were all watching the news, and there was no help, and no one knew. People had no idea what was going on. And Fidel announced that there were something like 1,100 doctors at the airport in Havana with all of the equipment they could possibly need, and they were ready to get on a plane and could have been in New Orleans within 2 hours. Huh? Well, no, it's 90 miles from Key West. It's a little bit further to New Orleans. And the fact that Cuba had been able to deal with, Hurricane Ivan, and had done these not only evacuations of people, but their animals were evacuated. And people who wanted to evacuate their color televisions were able to evacuate, their property. And not a single person died. I mean, that's actually quite amazing. And I thought it was quite ironic that this program that Cuba has, like I said, this is the last thing I'm going to say about, because I tend to go on and on about Cuba. But there is this program designed to train medical doctors from third world countries, countries in the global south, but also poor people, people of color in the U.S. And it's been going on for about the last 4 or 5 years. The first U.S. person, the first U.S. MD to graduate from that program in Cuba was ironically from New Orleans. So yeah, I have a great deal of respect for those who are going against the grain and insist on arguing that, you know, capitalism cannot be our future. It cannot be our future. If it is, so many of the people whom we count as our community will be lost forever. I mean, that is what this whole prison industrial complex is about. You know, that is what the privatization of healthcare and the privatization of education and the privatization of punishment, that whole juggernaut of privatization. But let me stop because, okay, is that an okay answer? Okay. Okay.